Awesome, thanks a lot. How's it going? My name is Jager. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending 18 minutes of your non-refundable lifetime with me. I appreciate it. I am here to tell you about some of the things I've learned over my career. I was at a number of startups that you've never heard of that are no longer in business. I joined Salesforce, and I was there for 11 years. And I left running their core Salesforce automation product line. And then finally, I now am the CEO of Crunchbase. And over those years, I learned a lot of things. And one of them was how important it was to fake it. How many of you are founders today in your companies or CEOs in your companies? Raise your hand. Awesome. And then how many of you are wannabe founders? Like you're not there yet, but you're sort of ramping up, ready to be one? Couple? Awesome. So this is definitely for you, so I'm glad that you're here. And the idea here is there is a long story of, I need one of those things, don't I? Of faking it. And the reason is because you are a CEO, or you're going to be a CEO, and your house is going to be on fire. That is what you have signed up to do. You are in the burning house, and you are just awesome with that. You're going to say that's fine every time. If your house is not on fire, it probably is, and you just don't know it yet. Just as part of the process, roll with it. So we're here in Startup University to give you this formula of 5 things that I've learned over time that will help you learn or achieve success, or at least be on the path to success. And we're going to start off, and this is also some hard love. I'm going to swear a lot, so just bear with, sorry in advance that I do swear. And we're going to start with the first question. Ask WTFC. This is probably the most important question that you should be asking yourself, asking your team, asking your company every single day. I have a tattoo that says Ask WTFC on my body. It's awkward. My wife thinks it's weird, but it's true because it is so important. Now, you're probably wondering, what is WTFC? Who the fuck cares? That is what you need to be asking every single time that you are in a meeting talking about product. Who cares about this thing that we are building? It is so critical to ask that question. And you hear this all the time. You need to go and make sure that people actually want the thing that you're building. But the reality is that people don't. And sitting in an echo chamber, talking with your friends in a dorm room, going and whiteboarding stuff up and getting super excited among the 3 founders in your company, going and showing an investor, having them get excited, even talking to people you used to work with that maybe experienced this problem, all of that is just an echo chamber of bullshit. And you need to go and find the people who are actually going to go and give you the honest truth, which are prospects you've never spoken to before. You need to go and find them. You need to go and find them, and you need to tell them and show them what it is that you are going to go and build. So how do you do that? So we did this. These are actual Crunchbase people horrified at the product that we were going to go and build and getting feedback from them. And here's the thing about focus group tests. They want you to be successful. They don't want to tell you the bad news. Just like you're going to be giving me courtesy laughs throughout all the jokes that I make today. Thank you for that in advance. The focus group tests, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to go and give you bullshit. Yes, this is awesome. Yes, I want this. And that is just the stuff that you should not be listening to. Because if you do, you're going to be misguided. You're going to go and give high fives and say, we're building exactly what people want. We're going to make gajillions of dollars. And you're going to walk away with no idea if you're actually doing the right thing. So build high-quality mock-ups of your thing. Don't go use balsamic. Don't go draw it on a whiteboard. Don't describe it. Go and build high-fidelity pictures of the things that you are thinking about building and show them to people you've never spoken before. You are going to fake it this is your product. You're going to show it to them as the vision of your product, and then let them tell you what they think and ask them if they would buy. If they say they would buy, say, can I sign you up right now? If they say that sure you can, awesome, good job. You should actually get some funding. If they say no, understand why not. Because that is the most critical feedback you're going to get during those focus group tests. Fake your product. Show it to these people and get feedback. Number 2, pick your favorite baby. How many of you have 2 or more babies, 2 or more pets, or 1 pet and 1 baby? Raise your hand. Awesome. Do you have a favorite? Put your hand up. They're not watching. Awesome. So that is the favorite baby test. And you need to be thinking about this all the time. because you will have lots of these, in our speak, babies/products that you will be asked from those focus group tests, things that you need to go and build, features you need to go and do. Crunchbase, we get a feature request every day, or more. How do we go and filter those out? You need to pick the thing that's the most important for your business, the thing that's going to drive you the most amount of money, and go and do it, and don't get distracted. Lack of focus is a virus in your organization. You have employees who are going to go and distract you. You're going to go and have customers trying to distract you, prospects. You must stay focused on the thing that matters to actually go and build the products that you need to go and build. And you are the vaccine. Don't let those infections of focus ruin the fact that you're going towards this one singular goal. You need to get there. And yes, those things are important. Yes, they're on fire. Let them burn. Focus on the thing you need to get to actually go and generate some revenue. Our example, we killed a lot of things in this process. MVP was really, really MVP. And just everything, like logo. We got really distracted with what our logo was. So you see this like weird little C circle there up there? That was almost the Crunchbase logo. We're like totally distracted by this. It was a waste of time, and I killed it, so we just stopped talking about it, so we don't have a logo. But that is not something that we should have focused on. You should do the same sort of hard love with yourselves to go and find the things that you should kill in your companies. Don't kill your babies and pets, but at least don't pay attention to them right now. And the way that you're going to fake it is you're going to tell people when they say, hey, what about the feature I want? What about the thing that's really important to me? Say, if it's a good idea, that's planned for a future release. If you're actually building it, it's scheduled for a future release. And if it's not a good idea at all, say, that's really interesting, we're going to go and research that. And that's how you fake it through building the actual product. Number 3, be Napoleon. So Napoleon, he's this little nerdy kid. He's got this aspirations to take over the world. We are all Napoleons in this room. But how did he do it? Was his core competency going and actually fighting battles on his own? No. He went and outsourced it, right? He went and said, I'm a nerdy little kid, and or a little short kid, right? And I'm going to go and find an army to go and back me up and go and make this thing happen. What that means is you need to outsource the stuff that is not your core competency. The things that you are not good at, the things that you maybe are good at but don't actually get you to where you need to be as a company, don't do them, right? Just find someone else to do them. In our case, a huge number of vendors are helping us make Crunchbase actually happen. When we spun out, we were 20 people. We were 20 people running this thing that had 30 million users. That's not easy. So we outsourced all of our stuff. So we had like Rainforest. Rainforest does our QA. So we don't even have a QA department. We use Rainforest to go and do that for us automatically. We were about to go and build all of the FTUCs, the first-time user experience stuff. WalkMe does that now for us. So all these vendors actually go and handle different parts of our business so that we don't have to, so that the engineers, who could easily go and build an analytics tool to go and track all of our stuff, they don't. They go and let Heap do that so we can focus on things that matter. Number 4, serving the kool-aid. Kool-aid is probably like the most overused metaphor in these talks, so I'm just going to embrace that and roll with it. Because the reality is that we as entrepreneurs are the pitcher, right? We're the weird pitcher thing that comes out of the walls every time someone talks about Kool-Aid. You wish that you could like burst through the wall every time someone mentions your company name or the pain that they're having and saying, hi, here I am, let's go, but you can't. You're not, that'd be weird. So you need to have other people talking about your product, just like these little stick figures that you can't see, say make it thirsty. Like those are the people that are selling it. They're saying, hey, I want some sugar water, give it to me. You need everyone around you being able to do the same talk track that you give. And be honest with yourself. Have you ever heard every single person at your company giving your pitch? Have you heard it? Because if you haven't, that's a big problem. Because those people are going and talking to your potential candidates who want to go and work at your company, right? Like those are the people that are going and talking at parties and selling your stuff. Validate that you, in fact, know that your employees are saying the right thing, that you're all saying the same thing together. Because if they're saying something different, if they don't have the same talk track that you do, you might find that you're losing candidates through the interview process because you're not aligned. Or they're not getting they're joining for the wrong reasons because they're joining for the wrong vision that the employees are sharing. So always make sure that you are hearing what your employees are doing and make sure that you're confident. Now, we've got an intern. Actually, he's now a full-time employee, but he was an intern at the time, this guy named Will, and we launched our product, and there was this news reporter. This news reporter wanted to go and do an interview with us, and I was not around. We had just launched a product, I was busy, and I got a call saying, can you come and make this meeting? Can you come and make this happen? And I was like, I can't. Who's in the booth? And it was Will, the intern. And I was like, okay, do I trust this kid to go and do this interview with this press? It was actually seen a ton. It was on like Saudi Arabian news or something. And I was like, let's do it, because I knew that Will could do it. I knew that he was good enough to do it. And he did, and he crushed it. Honestly, he probably did a better job than I would have done. And that was because I had confidence in my people that they could actually go and do a pitch and actually could tell the story and the vision of where Crunchbase was going as good as I can or better. Do that for yourselves, and what you're doing is you're faking the fact that you don't actually have spokespeople. You've just created a whole army of spokespeople by having your employees know that they can do the pitch, and you've heard it yourself and helped them make it as good as possible. Number 5, don't be ugly. This is a tricky one, because no one wants to admit this to themselves, but we are all ugly. Every single one of us, every startup. This is from Salesforce down to Crunchbase, down to a startup that you haven't started yet. Every single one of them is ugly. They are an ugly thing. And you are the spam Fiesta Peach Cup of companies, all right? And you just have to embrace that. You have to embrace it because it's true. And whoever the photographer was on this that had to make a spam Fiesta Peach Cup look good, that's your job, right? You have to go and make it look good no matter what. And this is one of these personal, like, I'm talking to you as a person right now. It's not a story about bullshitting, right? This is not a story about how you have to bullshit. This is a story about how you have to not be an asshole. Because at the end of the day, there's a ton of chaos happening, right? There's a ton of chaos. It is a stressful, stressful situation. You are going to be running out of money at some point. You're not sure if you're going to be able to make it. You're going to have tremendous amounts of pressure. You're going to have employees who are crying on your shoulder because of the stress that they're having. It is going to be a horrible situation. You're going to wonder to yourself, why did I do this again? Why don't I go work at a big company and have them pay me a lot of money? Like, that's a good question, but you've made the right decision, but you have to be sort of zen about it. You have to be the singular person that's going to go and be the shining light within your organization. Ultimately, you have to keep your shit together. And this is where I see tons of CEOs fail. No one is perfect at this, right? I certainly know I'm not perfect at this. Everyone needs to improve on this area because it is one of the most important things of keeping your organization moving forward and being on the right success. Because if you lose your shit, if you yell at someone when they don't deserve it, or just period, like just maybe don't yell, that is where it becomes okay in your organization and your culture to do that to other people. And that ultimately is, as again, you've inserted a new virus in your business that will ultimately kill it. So don't do that. It's a bad idea. So in our case, just to sort of emphasize some of the stress that we had, at the time we had 27 million users. We had 2 DevOps people, which was pretty crazy when we're in the top 1,000 companies or websites in the US. We have 0 IT. I'm the IT department. So if the Wi-Fi goes down, I get a phone call because that's my, I'm good at that. So that's my core competency. So I'm going to go and do it. But it meant that there's a lot of stress, and we're kind of being the entrepreneur, doing what we need to do to get things done, and keeping our cool as we go through the process. We have like 7,500 support tickets every quarter. It's a lot. And we have 1 support person who's trying to respond to all of them. That's really, really hard work. And obviously, I should ramp that up a little bit. But it's one of those things where you, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, you need to get your whole company thinking about being entrepreneurs and helping out. So this picture on the side there, which you don't see anymore, the picture is actually my exec team, which is going and being support. So we're all answering the questions. So when we launched, when you were asking a question about Crunchbase Pro, we were actually the ones that were responding behind the scenes because we didn't have a support team to actually handle the volume of tickets that were coming in. You need to have that same mentality, that same thought process going through it. So really quickly, recap. Talk to your prospects. Never lose focus. Only do what's core. Everyone must be an advocate, and always keep your shit together. If you do those 5 things, those are the 5 things that are going to drive you at least in the direction of success, right? I can't guarantee your product's going to be a success. Hopefully, if you talk to your prospects, you see a total market size that is interesting and going to make your company successful. But this will at least get you through the path to success. If you decide not to, or if you fake it to yourself that you're already doing these things when you're not, you are on a path to fail, and that is a bad idea. But with success, there's a little bit of danger, right? And let's just talk about a Napoleon quote really quickly. You know, since we talked about Napoleon earlier, the most dangerous moment comes with victory. That is because as you go down this path of success, you're going to find that there are complacency. Your team becomes complacent. You become complacent. You decide that the 5 things that used to work don't need to work anymore. But I can tell you that those 5 things I called out, those are all things that Salesforce does today. Again, I was there for a long time. We were faking it the whole way. I was in charge of building the vaporware demos we showed at Dreamforce. Those things were totally fake. None of it was real. But we would show it and say, this is the vision of the future. That was us doing focus group tests with 20,000 people simultaneously. So every company is faking it till they make it, even once they've made it. There's no making it. The story doesn't end. It is so important that you, as an individual, push your organization down that path and keep vigilant to keep being successful. Now, since this is a startup university, I am going to give you some homework. The homework is, other than just do those things, read 2 books. 2 books. And if you've already read them, you're going to read them again. Book number 1 is The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. If you haven't read it, read it. And then read it again. It's going to talk about all of the underbelly, ugly stuff of running a startup. All of the startup books you read, they're typically around how good things are, how glorious it is, and how things will be perfect. This book talks about all of the shit that happens, all the shit that happened to him, and then all of the learnings that he had. And it's one of my favorite books. Please read it. That's book number 1. Book number 2 is an old one. This one is by Dale Carnegie. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm terrible at this. I'm kind of an introvert. I don't really like talking to people, but I fake it and force myself to be an extrovert. This book will help you do that if that resonates with you at all. It tells you how not to be an asshole. I am inherently an asshole. And reading this book teaches me how not to be. So read those 2 books, and even at the beginning of the Dale Carnegie book, he'll go and say, read this book over and over again, and he's totally right. Keep reading it. It's not long. It's going to teach you how to not fight, how to listen to other people, how to not be a jerk, and ultimately, again, be successful. That's my talk. Thank you for your 18 minutes of non-refundable lifetime. I hope it was valuable. Have a good rest of the university. Take care.